when the greenwoods laugh with the voice of joy. And
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into something foundational, I think, in English literature. William Blake's songs of innocence and of experience.
Absolutely. And it's more than just poems thrown together, isn't it? It's this incredibly deliberate structure.
Right, a structure designed to show us, well, two sides of the coin, two states of the human soul, and maybe 18th century London too.
Exactly. Blake forces you, the reader, right into this comparison. You've got innocence, this world of sort of protected faith, maybe a bit naive.
Childhood, simplicity.
And then, bam, experience hits you. Disillusionment, social critique, this really sharp awareness of suffering and oppression.
So our mission for you today is to map out that journey. How does Blake take us from one state to the other? We want to understand the huge difference between them, looking at how he uses these paired poems, the imagery. Some of it's quite shocking, actually.
Definitely shocking. It's a move from this sort of free spirit to the mind-forged manacles he talks about later.
Before we dive into the poems themselves, we should probably talk about the guides Blake gives us, the voices that introduce each section.
Yeah, they're crucial. They set the tone completely. For Innocence, it all starts with the piper.
Right, the introduction poem. He's piping down the valleys wild, just playing these happy songs. There's a real sense of spontaneity.
Total spontaneity.
Yeah.
And joy. He sees this child laughing on a cloud who tells him to pipe a song about a lamb.
And then write it down.
Right. The child whoops to hear the song, but it's tears of joy. So the whole creative act, from inspiration to reception, is just pure, unmediated happiness. It defines innocence right there.
And how he writes it is interesting too, isn't it? He uses a reed for a pen, stains water for ink.
Yes. It's all very natural, organic, drawn straight from this clean, pastoral world. The tools match the feeling. Even the ink, just staining clear water, it's simple, not corrupting.
Okay, so that's innocence. Hold that feeling. Now, contrast it with the voice-introducing experience.
Oh, it's night and day. The piper's gone. Instead, you get the bard.
Much more serious. The bard, who present, past, and future sees. This isn't a laughing child. This sounds like ancient wisdom. Or weariness.
Weariness, definitely. He's not piping happy songs. He's calling the lapsed soul, weeping. The tone is all warning, regret, this urgent need for renewal.
Calling to earth, to the lapsed soul, telling it to wake up because the night is ending. It feels like a fall has happened.
Exactly. A fall from grace, from that protected state. The bard is saying, okay, the dream is over. Time to open your eyes, see the chains, and figure out how to break free. It's a call to critical awareness.
All right, let's step back into that first world then. Section 1. The idyllic world of innocence. This protected state full of simplicity and trust.
And the connection to the divine here is just effortless, isn't it? Take the lamb and ask that big question, little lamb, who made thee?
But there's no angst, no searching. The answer comes right away.
And the answer connects everything. The creator is the lamb who became a little child. God, lamb, child, they all share the same essential nature.
He is meek and he is mild. It's all about gentleness, approachability. The divine isn't distant or scary. It's right there in the most innocent things.
And that harmony just flows out into the community, into nature. Look at the echoing green.
Ah, yes, the village green. Everyone's out, the sun's shining, bells are ringing.
Skylarks, thrushes, kids playing. It's this perfect picture of shared life. And notice the old folks, like old John with white hair.
They're not grumpy or resentful. They're watching the kids play and remembering their own youth, laughing. It connects the generations.
Right. The past affirms the present joy. It's not about loss. It's about continuity. And the day ends so gently, too. The kids get tired, go home to sleep like birds in their nest.
It suggests life itself is safe, cyclical, predictable in a good way. No sudden horrors.
And the joy isn't just in the people. It's like the world itself is joyful. In Laughing Song or Spring, the woods laugh, the stream laughs, the air laughs.
Everything laughs. Joy is just fundamental, the default state of being in innocence.
Which leads us to that core theme of trust and societal faith. And maybe the most radical poem here is The Divine Image.
This is where Blake basically says God isn't up there somewhere, but in us.
Exactly. He lists the virtues: mercy, pity, peace, and love. But then he says, where do you find them? Mercy's in the human heart, pity in the human face, love in the human form, peace in the human dress.
So divinity is human compassion. It's what makes us human, essentially.
And because it's human, it's universal. He's very clear. Everyone, heathen, Turk, or Jew, prays to this human form of love and compassion. In Innocence, faith unites because it's based on shared humanity.
But this trust, this faith, it's so strong it can even, well, it can gloss over some pretty awful things, can't it? Like in the Chimney-Sweeper poem from Innocence.
Right. I mean, the poem starts with brutal reality. A child sold into this horrific labor when his mother dies, crying, "Weep, weep," in the streets. Blake doesn't hide that.
It's harrowing. But the poem's resolution doesn't call for, changing the system. It finds comfort elsewhere.
Entirely in faith. The speaker comforts another boy, Tom Dacre, who's had his beautiful white hair shaved off. Like a lamb's fleece, Blake implies.
Why shave the hair?
It symbolizes stripping away his innocence, his natural beauty, turning him into this tiny, blackened worker, forced into these coffins of black, the chimneys. But Tom has a dream.
The dream where an angel comes with a key.
And unlocks the coffins. All the sweepers run free, wash clean in a river, become naked and white, and fly up to heaven. And the angel tells Tom, basically, if you're good and do your duty, God will be your father and you'll be fine.
So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. That line is chilling in retrospect.
It really is. It shows how innocence copes with evil, not by fighting it, but by trusting in a spiritual escape hatch. The horror is real, but faith makes it bearable, even if that faith lets the injustice continue. That line could almost be propaganda for the status quo.
Wow. Okay. And that deep sense of security that everything will be all right extends to nature too. That's the third theme, heavenly protection.
Yes, look at night. Here, angels are actively managing the world. They pour blessing on everything, even visiting animals in their caves to keep them all from harm.
Even predators.
Oh.
Wolves and tigers.
Even them, when they howl for prey, the angels don't fight them. They stand by, pitying them, weeping, trying to drive their thirst away, trying to convert that predatory instinct into compassion.
And if that fails, if something does die.
Death isn't final. The angels just receive the mild spirit into new worlds, and the ultimate image of this protected state is the lion at the end.
Ah, the lion lying down with the lamb.
Yes, his ruddy eyes flowing with tears of gold, saying wrath is gone. In Innocence, the fundamental laws of nature, the violence, seem suspended by this overwhelming divine gentleness. It's a world utterly secured by faith.
It's a beautiful picture, almost dreamlike. But then Blake turns the page. And we enter experience. The shift is immediate, isn't it?
Jarring is the word. You go straight from that peaceful vision to Earth's answer, and Earth is not happy.
No. She's stony, dread, weeping, prisoned. What happened to the echoing green?
It's gone.
Yeah.
Or, rather, we're seeing the reality beneath it, and Earth knows exactly who to blame. She calls out these selfish father of men, cruel, jealous, selfish fear.
Who is this father?
Yeah.
Is it God? Or society? Or reason?
It's likely all of those things bound together. It's patriarchal authority, restrictive religious dogma, maybe the cold, classifying logic of the Enlightenment that Blake felt was killing the human spirit. It's whatever imposes control out of fear.
And this fear, this control, is what binds free love with bondage. It stops things from growing naturally.
Precisely. It freezes everything. Remember how Innocence was all spontaneous joy? Experience is about chains, restrictions, imposed order that stifles life. And you see those chains everywhere in the poem London.
Okay, London. This is central to experience, I think.
Yeah.
Let's spend a moment here. He walks through each chartered street near the chartered Thames. What does that word chartered mean here?
It's crucial. Chartered means owned, controlled, mapped out, usually for commercial or legal reasons. Think of chartered companies, legal charters. It means freedom is gone. The streets, even the river, which should flow freely, are under ownership and restriction.
So the very foundations of the city are based on control, not freedom.
Exactly. And the most powerful line, maybe in the whole collection, is, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear.
Mind-forged manacles. So the chains aren't just external laws or poverty. They're internal too.
That's the terrifying insight. Blake is saying we create our own prisons in our minds. We accept limitations. We internalize the oppression. We fail to imagine or demand something different. Society's chains work because we help forge them in our own thoughts.
And the poem gives us specific examples of the suffering these manacles cause. The Chimney-Sweeper again.
Yes, but here his cry doesn't lead to an angel. It appalls the blackening church. The church itself is stained by the soot and the suffering it ignores. Its moral authority is compromised.
And the soldier. His sigh runs in blood down palace walls.
A direct link between the suffering of the common man, forced into war, and the seat of power. The palace itself is stained with the blood spilled to maintain its authority. It's incredibly political.
And then that final devastating image, the youthful harlot's curse.
Yeah, this one is brutal. At midnight, you hear her curse, and that curse blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse.
It connects everything. Poverty forces her into prostitution. Her curse, maybe literal, maybe venereal disease, harms the innocent baby, and it infects marriage itself, turning the promise of family, the marriage bed, into a vehicle of death, a hearse.
It's a complete condemnation. The whole system, economic, social, sexual, is corrupt and self-destructing. It poisons life at its very source.
This leads right into the theme of corrupted institutions. The church is a prime target. We had to compare Holy Thursday in experience with the one in Innocence.
Oh, yes. Remember the innocent version? All those kids like flowers flown into St. Paul's, a beautiful, orderly display of charity.
But in experience, Blake pulls back the curtain. These are babes reduced to misery, fed with cold and usurious hand.
That word usurious is key. It implies the charity isn't genuine, it's exploitative. The institutions profit from poverty, or at least perpetuate it. He asks, how can this be holy in a rich country?
Is this a holy thing to see in a rich and fruitful land? The land could feed them, but the system keeps them poor, and their trembling cry isn't a song anymore. It proves its eternal winter there.
A spiritual winter, caused by cold, institutional selfishness masquerading as piety.
And that critique gets even more direct in the Garden of Love.
The place where the speaker used to play on the green, a place of natural childhood freedom, but he goes back, and what does he find?
A chapel, built right where he used to play, and the gates are locked.
Locked with "Thou shalt not" written over the door. Religion, specifically institutional religion, has literally shut down the space for natural joy and desire.
And inside, no flowers, just graves, and priests in black gowns walking around.
Binding with briars my joys and desires. It's such a violent image. Religion isn't nurturing. It's actively suppressing and wounding natural human feelings. The briars are thorns, pain.
Sometimes Blake just cuts straight to the chase, doesn't he? Like in The Little Vagabond.
Yes. The logic is so simple, almost childishly pragmatic. The church is cold. The alehouse is warm and friendly.
So the Vagabond suggests, why doesn't the church just offer beer and a nice fire? Then people would actually want to go and pray.
It's a brilliant bit of social commentary. He's saying, forget the complex theology and self-denial. If religion met basic human needs for comfort and fellowship, maybe it would actually work. God wouldn't mind if people were happy, surely. It skewers the church's austerity.
Okay, so institutions are corrupt. What about the self? How does experience affect the individual from birth? That's theme 3, the binding of the self.
We'll compare infant joy from innocence, that simple, happy naming, with infant sorrow in experience.
Totally different tone. Birth isn't joyful, it's entering a dangerous world.
And the baby isn't a sweet little thing. It's helpless, naked, piping loud, like a fiend hid in a cloud. The first instinct is struggle.
Struggling in my father's hands, striving against my swaddling bands. Those bands, the first clothes, are already seen as chains.
Exactly. The very first experience of life is restriction, captivity. So the baby rejects comfort, choosing instead to sulk upon my mother's breast. Defiance from the moment of birth.
And this binding isn't just external pressure. It can be internal too, right? Like repressed emotions in a poison tree.
Oh, this is a masterpiece of psychology. Blake lays it out so clearly. If you're angry with a friend, you tell them and it's over. I told my wrath did end.
But if you're angry with an enemy and you don't tell them,
it grows like a tree. And you deliberately cultivate it. You water it with your tears and fears. You sun it with fake smiles and soft, deceitful wiles.
You pretend to be friendly while secretly nurturing this hatred.
And this hidden, cultivated anger bears fruit, a bright, attractive apple. Like the tree of knowledge, perhaps, it tempts the enemy.
And the result? The foe sneaks in, eats the apple, and is found dead under the tree the next morning.
Silent, poisonous destruction, caused entirely by suppressed emotion and deceit. Innocence dealt with pain through trusting faith. Experience deals with it by hiding it, which creates poison. It's a terrifying look at the dark side of the human psyche.
So we've seen innocence, we've seen experience. Now, the really fascinating part, Blake doesn't just leave them separate. He forces us to hold them together, to see the duality and maybe search for a synthesis.
Absolutely. The core of the work is this tension between the states. And the ultimate example is putting the lamb right next to the tiger.
The contrast is immense. The lamb, gentle, meek, easily understood, made by someone who is also a lamb and a child.
Then the tiger. Burning bright, pure, terrifying energy. The questions aren't comforting answers. They're expressions of awe and fear. What immortal hand or eye could frame my fearful symmetry?
Frame suggests deliberate construction, not just gentle creation, like something powerful and maybe dangerous was being built.
And the tools. He asks, what the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? These aren't pastoral images. This is industry, fire, force.
It's the language of a blacksmith, forging something immense and potentially deadly. Did making the tiger require this kind of violent effort?
That's the implication. And it leads to that central, earth-shattering question. Did he who made the lamb make thee?
Can the source of perfect gentleness also be the source of such terrifying power and beauty?
Blake demands that you grapple with that. Experience shows us that both predatory energy and gentle innocence exist in the world. If there is a single creator, that creator must contain both potentials. You can't just have the lamb, you have to account for the tiger too.
And this tension plays out philosophically too, right? In the clod and the pebble.
Yes, it's like a mini debate right within experience. Yeah. Two opposing views of love side by side. First, the clod of clay.
Socked, downtrodden, literally under the cattle's feet. And its definition of love.
Pure selflessness. Love seeketh not itself to please. It sacrifices itself for another's well-being. It builds a heaven in hell's despair. That's the innocent ideal, surviving somehow into experience.
But then you get the pebble. Hard, independent, sitting in the stream.
And its view is the complete opposite. Cynical, self-serving. Love seeketh only self to please, binds others, and actually takes joy in another's suffering. It builds a hell in heaven's despite.
So, total self-interest versus total self-sacrifice. Both presented as definitions of love within the world of experience. Blake just puts them there, forcing you to see the contradiction.
And this leads to one of his most profound critiques. How even our concepts of virtue get twisted in the experienced world. Look at the human abstract.
This one is tough. He starts by questioning things we normally think are good, like pity and mercy.
Right. He says, pity would be no more if we did not make somebody poor. Think about that. Pity only exists because we create poverty. Mercy only exists because we create misery.
So are these virtues actually just byproducts of an unjust system? Maybe even ways for the comfortable to feel good about a system that benefits them?
That seems to be what he's suggesting. It's an economy of suffering used for moral justification. And it gets worse. This system generates fear, which creates a false peace. Then cruelty enters, weaving snares. Humility takes root under cruelty's foot.
It all grows into this tree. The tree of mystery.
Exactly. A dark, tangled growth hidden in shadow that bears the fruit of deceit. And Blake is very specific about where this tree grows.
He says the gods searched nature for it, but couldn't find it.
Because it's not in nature. This tree, the root of systematic deception and cruelty, grows only in the human brain. It's our abstractions, our ideologies, our institutions that create this specific kind of evil.
Wow. So if the human mind can create this abstract evil, what happens to the divine image we saw in Innocence?
Well, experience has its own version, a divine image. And it's terrifying. The gentle virtues, mercy, pity, peace, love, are gone.
Replaced by their opposites, cruelty, jealousy, terror, and secrecy.
And look at the imagery. The human form isn't divine anymore. It's a fiery forge. The human face is a furnace sealed. The heart isn't full of compassion. It's a hungry gorge.
It's industrial, metallic, violent, forged iron.
It's the human capacity for good, completely inverted, turned into this relentless machine for producing suffering. When corrupted, the human doesn't just become neutral, it becomes actively destructive.
And this destructive machinery crushes natural joy. We see that so clearly in the schoolboy.
Oh, the poor schoolboy. He loves the summer morning, the birds singing, the huntsman, all the natural, spontaneous life outside.
Yet then, he has to go to school. And all the joy just vanishes. It drives all joy away. He has to sit there under a cruel eye outworn.
The cruel eye of the teacher, the oppressive structure of formal education, and the boy asks that heartbreaking question. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing?
School is the cage, crushing his natural spirit.
And Blake extends the metaphor. If you nip the buds and blow the blossoms away in spring, how can you expect fruit in the summer?
If you crush a child's natural joy and curiosity,
you create a barren adult. You destroy the potential for future happiness and productivity. It's a powerful argument against repressive education systems.
And the ultimate expression of this repressive authority might be in a little boy lost from experience.
Right.
This one is brutal.
It really is. A child makes a simple, logical statement. Maybe a bit cynical, but logical for experience. Not loves another as itself. Basically, self-interest comes first.
Seems like a reasonable observation about the world Blake has just shown us. But the priest hears it.
And flips out. In trembling zeal, he accuses the boy of blasphemy, of setting up human reason against our most holy mystery.
Because the child dared to think for himself, based on observation rather than just accepting dogma.
And the result? They strip the boy, bind him in iron chains, those manacles again, and burn him alive in a holy place.
Burned for thinking.
It's Blake's starkest warning. When authority, especially religious authority, values its doctrines more than human life, reason, and compassion, it becomes monstrously destructive.
So we've journeyed through Innocence with its protected joy and plunged into Experience with its harsh critiques and awareness of suffering. We've seen the piper replaced by the bard.
And Blake's real power, I think, comes from forcing us to see both. He uses those paired poems, those contrasting images, the lamb and the tiger, the two chimney-sweepers, the two holy Thursdays, to show the hypocrisy, the failures, the darkness lurking beneath the surface of his society.
He critiques the church, the state, the effects of industrialization, the way childhood was being corrupted, the way thought itself was being oppressed.
It's not just about growing up, it's about the collision between ideals, the mercy, pity, peace, and love of innocence, and the grim reality of a world seemingly dominated by cruelty, jealousy, terror, and secrecy. Innocence alone is naive. It can't survive the collision. But experience alone is just bleak, paralyzing almost.
So what's the takeaway for you listening to this? Blake doesn't let you choose one or the other. He insists you hold both realities in your mind at once.
Recognizing the tiger doesn't mean the lamb isn't real or wasn't real. Seeing the mind-forged manacles doesn't erase the memory or the ideal of the echoing green. True wisdom, perhaps, lies in navigating that tension.
Which leads us to a final provocative thought. It comes from the very last poem, the voice of the ancient bard. After showing us all the darkness of experience, the bard calls out to the youth.
He tells them to look, now that the clouds of reason and dark disputes have faded, and see the image of truth newborn.
A newborn truth. After everything we've seen, what could that mean?
Well, that's the question Blake leaves us with, isn't it? If innocence is a kind of naive faith and experience is a necessary, maybe cynical disillusionment, could there be a third stage?
A synthesis. A higher innocence, maybe.
Perhaps. A state where you fully understand the world's darkness, you see the tiger's fearful symmetry, you know about the manacles, but you consciously choose to strive for the values of the lamb anyway. A kind of clear-eyed, experienced innocence.
Seeing the truth, clear and whole, beyond both naive hope and cynical despair.
That's the possibility Blake seems to hint at. And that's the ongoing journey he invites you, the reader, to continue, to find that image of truth newborn for yourself.